Welcome back, boys. We got the week 4 recap coming at you. We had 200 bombs. We had battles of the moms. And in the end, we had no undefeated or winless teams left in this league. Nick, welcome back to another recap. How are you doing, my man?
Doing pretty well. Really excited to get into the recap this week because we had a very exciting week here.
We do. We have a very exciting guest joining us. First-time caller, not a very long-time listener. Tyler Cleesby, owner of Glizz Mafia, joins the show after putting up an absolute ass-whooping and monstrous performance, setting the new league record with 224 points and a 100-point beatdown of sticky mistakes. Tyler, welcome to the show. Give us a breakdown of how your boys were able to triumph this week.
Yeah, thanks for having me. It was good to get off the schneid here. We got off in a big way. Good to break the 0-3 here. Want to give a quick shout out to Coop as well for getting off the schneid. So way to go, Coop. Starts with the newly acquired GOAT, Tom Brady, 33 points. I think we needed a 21 bomb from him, if I'm not mistaken. On Sunday Night Football, he delivered and more. Freshly gotten from the opponent here, actually, Adam. So thank you for that, Adam. Do want to give a quick shout out to Tua. We wish him a speedy recovery. I know Coop's been gaslighting in the chat, but wish him a speedy recovery. Then we'll move on to the running backs. Jamal Williams, big day from him. It was good to see him not be vulturing my boy DeAndre Swift's touchdowns this week. He was actually in my lineup, so it was good to see me actually get points for that this week. Josh Jacobs, big day, 38.5 points. Big bounce back game for him. He's kind of been stuck in the mud a little bit, but good to see him get off the schneid a little bit. Do want to point out the fact 38.5, that's a big number. When referencing the highest scoring week of all time, we do have to point fact that there has been a lowest scoring week of all time, 38 points by Brendan Lemp. And Josh Jacobs single-handedly outscored his entire team just this week. So just want to point that out. Moving on, the receivers, studs. We feel like this is probably the strength of our team this year, and they all showed out again this week. AJ Brown started it off, 15.5 points, so solid performance from him. Kept Jalen Hurts in check as well, so that was good. He even had a touchdown called back, so we even left some meat on the bone, as shocking as that is. T. Higgins started off for us Thursday Night Football, 25.4 points. Big 60-yard touchdown from Joe Shiesty. That was huge. And then CeeDee Lamb, he was showing CD's nuts to the Washington Commanders and to Adam's team, 21.7 points. Another big week. And then specialists were pretty good again this week, 18.9 and 29.3. Greg Joseph, he hadn't been that great for us the last 2 weeks, but we held the faith in him, despite Adam saying he should get a -1 point for his, or -5 points for his extra point. Delivered with 5 field goals, including the game winner. And then Philadelphia 5 turnovers. So that was big for us. Gerald Everett, don't want to leave him out. Solid day. Caught a touchdown, 15.6 points. Also very solid day.
Nice, yeah. So we have obviously new single week record. I would like to point out this is the first ever 100-point spread in a week. So congratulations to you. There's been a little bit of chatter, this year, last year being kind of the first time or one of like kind of the down years for Glizz Mafia being in the toilet bowl and everything. And, there's been some chatter around the league, even some people coming on this show and saying that you guys kind of don't have it anymore. So kind of just really want to know, like, what do you want to say to those people who have kind of been, writing you off and thinking that you're not really about it this year?
They're going to learn today. Even a blind squirrel finds a nut once in a while. Even bad owners find a Cooper Cup every once in a while. So we'll be back and we'll be ready. We're going to build off this performance and we're going to get to a little bit more consistent basis.
All right. Yeah. So my question, you kind of touched on it already, but we saw your team start selling off some pieces for some future draft picks after your 0-3 start. But is this win enough by itself to change your outlook on your team and how you're going to approach the season as a front office? I mean, if there's ever one win that could do it, I would think this would be it.
Yeah, it definitely inspires hope here. I don't know. It's a hard piece. We definitely want to manage how we're going forward this year. This inspires a lot of confidence, but we'll see. We'll always look into acquire assets and look to the future as well.
All right. Very well said, Tyler. Thanks for joining us. And we look forward to seeing how your team performs the rest of the year, and we wish you best of luck.
Thanks for having me. Go Glizz. Talk to you boys later.
Have a good one, please.
Everyone, please. All right. On the other side of this absolute ass kicking, we had the sticky mistakes, only putting up 124 points. I could tell you how they did it, but it doesn't really matter. They never really had any hope from the beginning. Jefferson had a nice day with 31, including a touchdown. But other than that, just a lot of mediocre performances. This is their third straight loss, and you could kind of say all of them have been bad luck. So this is definitely not the odd number year type of luck that they're used to having. We'll see if that changes any at all going forward. All right. Our second game of the week up, we have the Philly Cheekles taking down FaZe Cav as they suffer their first loss of the season. Philly Cheekles get it done 117-107. Nick, tell us how the Cheekles were able to pull through.
Yeah, so Justin Herbert here, pretty solid day considering, he's still kind of battling that rib injury, the rib cartilage and everything. Putting up 340 yards, 2 touchdowns. Granted, was against the Houston Texans, but, you'll take that as a fantasy manager each and every time, getting around 27 points from your starting quarterback. Justin Taylor still surprisingly quiet to start the season. 20 carries, 42 yards, averaging just around 2 yards a carry, not something that we're used to seeing from him in this offense. So, we're still hoping to see if he can turn that around and the Colts can kind of get going here. But luckily for Blake, he did have Jeff Wilson sub in here and do have a pretty solid day, scoring a touchdown, 74 yards against the Rams, incredible front seven. You'll take that every day of the week. Also on Monday Night Football, would be remiss if I didn't point out Deebo Samuel here, absolute stud, taking a huge play that looked like it was about to be a pick six and then taking it to the crib for a touchdown. He looked absolutely electric and just like the Deebo Samuel we saw last year on Monday night. So that was great to see from the Philly Cheekles perspective. Also want to shout out Cortland Sutton as he looks to be one of the only pieces of this Bronco offense that's frankly worth a damn at this point, as he got 52 yards and a touchdown in the loss to the Las Vegas Raiders. And everybody else here kind of just did enough, Njoku around 8 points, Singletary hitting double digits is definitely a good sign. And, everybody else is kind of doing enough here to squeak out the win against FaZe Kev. And, Philly Cheekles, after dropping a couple games early this season, is definitely going to take this win to get back to 500, even if it was kind of on the uglier side.
Very well said. On the flip side here, we had FaZe Kev after their hot, surprising 3-0 start. They suffer their first loss of the season. Josh Allen, even not his greatest performance, still able to get a rushing touchdown, still able to put up 27. He's showing to maybe be the highest floor quarterback in the league right now. Eckler also had a good day, 3 total touchdowns, gave him 33 points. But unfortunately, the rest of the running back room, not as fortunate as Javonte Williams would go down for the season. He tore all the CLs in his knee. Hopefully, he'll make a full recovery and we'll see him back next year. He was one of the better young backs in the league. So, obviously, that's a big blow for this team. Pittman was a little disappointing for them. Olave came back. He had a nice day, 17 points, including a tug for the Saints over in London. And then Ingram and Drake London, a little disappointing, but their specialists were okay. This team suffers their first loss. If they made it to this point in the season, so they'll be okay. The Javante injury is obviously going to be a problem for them from a fantasy standpoint. We'll see how they're able to replace him. But yeah, not the greatest weeks for FaZe Kev, but so far this season they've indicated that they'll turn it around. But we'll see. All right, third game of the week. We had PC Principal with another absolute master performance this week. 160 points, taking down Texas S10 Force 135. Nick, tell me all about the monster that I had to run into this week.
Yeah, so it started here on Thursday Night Football. Glizz touched on it a little bit earlier. Joe Burrow, pretty solid in that game against Miami as he had that big touchdown pass to T. Higgins. I believe that was in the second quarter, but pretty solid day from him. 287, 2 touchdowns. Pretty kind of nice to see the Bengals offense be a semblance of what it was last year this past Thursday. The biggest thing here for PC Principal was the running back room finally getting some double-digit scores on the board. Brees Hall here with 66 yards and a touchdown. Khalil Herbert filling in for David Montgomery. It was really nice for PC Principal to see some double-digit scoring out of the running back room. So they'll love to see that and hope to see that moving forward. Tyreek Hill also played very well on Thursday Night Football as he was able to put up 160 yards, around 26 points here. And the big star of the day, TJ Hawkinson on the Detroit Lions, 180 yards, 2 touchdowns, a 2-point conversion. And look at all the big plays this guy had during the day. Like, what the fuck didn't he do? Absolute stud of a performance. And you know that your tight end had a good day when you're going up against a Texas size 10-4s and you outscore Travis Kelce by damn near 20 points. And this man's a walking 20 points in himself. So just great day from TJ Hawkinson. A big reason that this team won. Also want to Cordell Patterson, ended up getting hurt. Looks like he's going to be out for around 4 to 6 weeks. So we hope for a speedy and healthy recovery from him, as he's been very electric ever since getting into the Atlanta offense. So we wish him the best. And yeah, the rest of the team here, McPherson with double digits, the Rams getting around 11 points, just a very solid week overall from everybody on Coop's team, as this definitely instills some confidence moving forward after the 0-3 start that they had.
Yeah, so unfortunately, the week that they chose to get it right would be against us. Like Nick said with the Hawkinson, he just had a beast of a week. Sometimes you just gotta tip your cap and accept what comes to you. There's not much you can do going against 160. But let's see what we still did this week. McCaffrey, though, on the bright side, he was able to get his first 20-point week this season, so we were obviously happy to see that. He included a touchdown on that as well. Hollywood was also able to get 20 points with a touchdown. Kelce also got 23 with a touchdown. But other than that, just a little bit mediocre throughout the rest of our lineup. A little bit underwhelming, and really that's just been the story of the whole year. We have 2 Lions awards and 2 losses, but we also kind of snuck out a win in there as well. So we definitely could be playing better. We're used to sending 1 or 2 weeks that just get the whole league's attention, makes everyone's eyeballs pop out of their head, sending up these 200-point weeks that you've been seeing, and we just have not been anything near that. So if we want to make a run at a title, we got to improve quick, and we got to start having multiple touchdown games. It's really that simple. All right. Our 4th matchup of the week. We had the Cleveland Steamers rolling in to Wallace Pluto 84, a crucial South Division matchup. And Cleveland Steamers get it done 135 to 114. Nick, tell us what your boys did this week.
I'm gonna tell you what, man, this was an ugly fucking win, but we're gonna take it, and we're very happy with the outcome here, even though it was not exactly what we envisioned. Mahomes played great on Sunday Night Football, scoring just around 30 points. You know, he had to throw an interception at the end of the game there to make sure that Lenny got his touchdown. So, you know, that's what a team captain does. But I thought he played incredible on Sunday Night Football. Some of the Mahomes magic plays that we're all used to seeing, just absolute stud. Loved watching him this Sunday. Nick Chubb, you know, continuing his RB1 season so far, RB1 through 4 weeks. Pretty fucking good for my man Nick Chubb here, 118 yards and a touchdown. Browns didn't want to give him the ball with the game on the line. Not my decision, not my team, but I would have done it. Joe Mixon, you know, snuck into the end zone here. As you know, still kind of inefficient running the ball in Cincinnati, but, you know, we'll take the touchdown. We'll take the fact that he was able to outscore Jamar Chase, which was a huge point of emphasis going into the week. So that's very good. But our kind of big shout out and big performance of the week is we got to shout out the defense, baby. Huge part of this team, huge side of the ball. You know, you can't win a game without defense and special teams. We needed 12 points from the defense on Monday night, and damn, they gave us 32. You know, that was an absolute incredible performance from the defense. Loved seeing that. And San Fran looks like they're have an incredible defensive unit this year. I do want to point out one thing that is unacceptable moving forward, and something that we do have to correct very quickly: the receiving room. Receivers this week played awful. The receivers last week played awful. And, you know, this is something we got to fix. You know, it's not like the receivers on our bench really did a whole hell of a lot more. I don't think any of our receivers scored double digits this week, even if you go into the bench as well. So team captain Odell Beckham did hold a players only meeting for the receivers today. You know, there was some shit that had to get said and some people that need to be held accountable, but that's what the team captain does. So hoping that Odell and the receivers here can do some good work this week and we can kind of get that back on track. But we're not going to make any type of noise, any type of championship run if the receiver room is putting up these type of numbers. That's the one thing that we got to get right this week. But overall, we'll take this kind of ugly win. We're sitting at 3-1 right now, and you know we're just gonna take it as it is right now and know that we still need to improve in the coming weeks.
Very well said. You gotta always be looking for improvement if you want those championship aspirations. On the flip side here, Wallace Pluto 84 falls to 2-2. They had pretty much just mediocrity across the board this week. Saquon is looking to be the lone bright spot of this team so far. 20 points. He's currently the second highest running back in our league so far. So obviously bouncing off those injuries that have plagued him in the past, it's obviously great to see out of him so far this year. But other than that, really just a bunch of teen scores throughout. Mark Andrews, rather disappointing, only 3 points out of him. Also, Stonks was in single digits, and then Specialist played okay. Justin Tucker played pretty good. Defense played like pretty average. So yeah, really this has just been more of what we've seen of Wallace Pluto 84 in the past. There's no signs to their fan base of anything other than another mediocrity bowl finish. And it's really going to come down to whether they win or lose the Super Series. So see if they're able to change that destiny. But so far this season, it's looking like that's where they're heading yet again. And finally, our fifth and final match of the week, the featured main event in terms of most anguish and beef this week. We had the FrancyFeast taking down the Pams in the Battle of the Moms, 143-114. Matt was very happy this week to see his 1-2 punch finally come through for him. Kyler Murray, 27, and Derrick Henry, 24. First time this season that we've seen both of them perform in sync like that. And then Gordon didn't have a great week, obviously, minus 2.2 on a fumble. However, with the Javonte injury we mentioned earlier, he should be looking to get more touches later. So FrancyFeast is definitely going to be the benefactor of that injury. And then Mike Evans, this team already had a lead going into Sunday Night Football, but they were looking to extend it. Mike Evans came in, put up almost 30 points, made sure their lead was nice and comfy. It was still within reach for Can Pams over here on Monday night, but they would come up well short. And FrancyFeast, after a very slow start and losing the Toilet Bowl last year, they would win back-to-back games. They improved to 2-2, and we'll see if they're able to keep that momentum going.
Yeah, I know I speak for myself and for most of the league that everybody loves to see a good old FrancyFeast here every once in a while, especially at the expense of the Can Pams. Can Pams this week, got Lamar Jackson, who didn't play quite the way that he has for the entirety of the season. 2 interceptions, including that crucial 4th down interception to kind of not seal the game, but kind of put Baltimore in a position where they couldn't win. And then kind of going down and looking at the running backs here, double digits, for some teams from the running back position is great. Here for the Can Pams, they spend a lot of money here on the running backs, and 11 points isn't really going to move the needle most weeks. So that's definitely something that they want to see improved upon. Cooper Kupp, he's always going to get his targets. He's always going to get, his yards and everything, his garbage time yards, and but he was kind of the only person that was showing out for the Rams in that game. Granted, he was one of the only people that were getting targeted, but a solid 24 points from Cooper Kupp. Can't be mad at that. Jalen Waddle, didn't have the greatest game after kind of overtaking Tyreek the week before to win against PC Principal. Tyreek was kind of the focus of the Miami Dolphins offense this past Thursday, so it was kind of a Jalen Waddle quiet week there. Kittle still hasn't really been able to get going quite yet with the 49ers, as he's been asked to do a lot more pass blocking with the injuries on their offensive line. And then, kind of just going down the board here, not incredible scores. Christian Kirk, one of his kind of down games so far. Daniel Carlson, I thought, played pretty well. 13 points from your kicker is always, pretty good. And the Bills getting, 17.5 points against the high-powered Baltimore offense this year is not bad, but just overall not enough firepower here to kind of get it done against FrancyFeast. And sometimes the majority of the league just gets what they want.
That is very well said. Expert analysis from you as always. And with that, we will look ahead to our Week 5 matchups. First off, we've got the Texas size 10 forwards taking on the Can Pams in a tough matchup for 2 teams fighting to make space for themselves atop the North Division. Second off, we got Wallace Pudo 84 taking on the Philly Cheekles in the Yom Kippur matchup. Third, we got FaZe Kev versus FrancyFeast in a rematch of the Toilet Bowl from last season, although both of these teams are off to much happier starts this season, at least to this point. And then fourth matchup, we have the Cleveland Steamers taking on the Sticky Mistakes, and this one is for the $50 side bet that was placed in the offseason. Nick, what are you expecting from the boys this week, and how do you plan to give Adam his 4th straight loss and take his $50?
Yeah, kind of touched on it a little bit in our recap of our team this week. Sticky Mistakes, they have a very, very good receiver room in Justin Jefferson and Stephon Diggs. And while I'm not expecting to kind of keep pace with that, the receivers definitely have to be a lot better than they were this past week. Hoping that, the receivers only meeting with team captain Odell Beckham today, worked some wonders. And, Odell's going to be out there doing a lot this week at practice. So we definitely need to have a strong performance from the receivers, because we know that we're going to get a great performance out of our running backs and our quarterbacks. So we got to have the receivers step up this week.
That's great advice. And then our 5th and final matchup, we got Glizz Mafia versus PC Principal. Both these teams are coming off their first win of the season. However, Glizz Mafia did in more fashion, obviously, getting the new league record at 224 points. Nick, any final thoughts before we get out of here?
Nothing major, just hope everybody's doing well. Hope everybody's in good spirits and good health. And let's just let's take a couple of days off here, rest the boys up, and we'll be getting back at it in a couple of days. So hope everybody has a great Week 5 here. Except if your name's Adam Kleckner and the Sticky Mistakes. Hope you guys do terrible.
Or the Pams. We don't like them.
The Pams. You already know that.
All right, boys. That'll do it for us this week. Hope everyone enjoys their weekend. Make sure you grind out those fantasy lineups. Later.